All right, I see y'all getting in here. Give y'all about another minute and a half. Let y'all get on in here, man. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. You've tuned in to Upon Further Review with Rocky on Off Script. You could be anywhere in the world right now. You could be watching Instagram models. You can be watching TikTok videos. But you decided to tune in with your boy Rocky, and I certainly appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. You could be watching cats. Ain't that what people do? They watch cats on cat videos? Yeah. All right, we got 45 seconds on the countdown. What's up, Miss Script? What's up, Reese Dog? What's up, Booker Wilson? I see you in there, baby. What's up, everybody? This your boy Rocky, and I hope I didn't bust your speakers. What's up, everybody, man? I want to thank y'all for tuning in to Off Script for Upon Further Review, and I am your host, Rocky. I want to thank you guys for coming on today, man. We have a very, very good show planned for you today. I'm excited about this. Mainly reason why I'm excited, man, because we got a very special guest. Very special guest. You won't have to ask the question whether he's SWAC or not. You won't have to ask that question. He's absolutely 100%, no doubt, SWAC, all right? But before we get started, man, I just want to thank you guys once again for tuning in. I want to thank Miss Script and Scotty for giving me this opportunity, man. I do want to make them proud by giving them an opportunity to come on their channel. I appreciate them sharing their audience with me, and I thank you for coming on. Now, last week, man, you know how Scotty always say I watch film, right? Well, see, I watch film too. I went back and watched myself on the podcast last week, on the live last week, right? And I realized that at probably the first half of the hour and a half show, I was nervous, man. You could tell I was nervous, man. My voice was trembling. I didn't have, I was nervous. I wasn't confident, and that lack of confidence showed through. So I went back to an old remedy I used to use back when I was a young pup, right? Old remedy. I'm not telling y'all to use this remedy, but this is what I used back in the day, right? So what I did back in the day is, see, let me tell you, I'm loud and I'm funny, Rep, but when it came to talking to girls, man, I was always really scared and shy, man. I was extremely scared and shy, and I never could. I would go up to a girl and try to talk to her and just lock up and didn't know what to say or anything like that. So when we went to parties or things like that, I had no game whatsoever, right? But I learned something at a very young age. Very young age. If I took a sip of that cheap wine or a shot of that cheap alcohol, somehow my confidence would go from 2 to 10. And so that's what I did. I took a little shot of alcohol, and now my confidence went to 2 to 10. So I hope you guys, again, don't go out there and tell y'all mamas that Uncle Rock told y'all to deal with your anxiety by drinking alcohol. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just telling you what I did. I'm telling you what I did to kind of overcome a little nervousness, a little unsure. When you're unsure, if you need a little boost of confidence, you take a little of that oil, and I'll take a sip right now. I'll take a sip right now to help you get over that little bit of nervousness, that little bit of anxiety. Because again, at the end of the day, it's hard to enjoy something when you're nervous and when you're not quite sure. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. But I just want to tell y'all that one quick little see, Miss Scripps say just took the edge off. That's all you need to do is take the edge off. I'm not telling you to get drunk. Don't get drunk. But you certainly can use a little beverage to take the edge off. Now let me give y'all what y'all came here for. Y'all didn't need my drinking advice. Y'all don't need my drinking advice. But I wanted to tell you, man, we got an exciting show tonight. We got Coach Johnnie Cole. He's going to be on a little later. I want to get through my picks first, my recap and my picks first before we bring Johnnie Cole on, man. And so I'm very excited about talking with this guest, man. He knows so much about the SWAC and HBCU football as a whole and life in general, if you really want to know. I also want to let you know that today's cigar is the Oliva Series V Nub, the Oliva Series V Nub, and you can get about 10 of those at slowburnwaco.com, slowburnwaco.com. All right, let me get back. Let me get back to our regularly scheduled program. Let's do a recap of last week, right? Last week, I had it was only 2 games, so I only made 2 picks, right? I went into the Bengals Kansas City game understanding that Patrick Mahomes was injured, right? He was injured. He was hobbled, and he barely got out of the game like the week before. I thought coming in hobbled against a Bengals team who had been able to handle Buffalo, who I thought Buffalo was, the better team, but they handled Buffalo. And matter of fact, they Joe Burrow played out of his mind against Buffalo, and it wasn't even a contest, right? They literally, for all intents and purposes, blew out Buffalo. So this game, I looked at it, I said, you got a hobbled Patrick Mahomes, right? He's hobbled. He's not 100%. Along with the fact that the Bengals are playing at a very high level. So what I ended up doing was picking the Bengals. My man, let me look at this. This is a good one right here. This is a good one. My man Booker Wilson said, you can't sip alone. So let me give y'all a couple seconds to go out and get your favorite beverage and get you a sip as well. All right, back to our regular scheduled programming. All right, so again, I thought the Bengals were playing really well. Patrick Mahomes hurt. Went into the game thinking, hey, this is a mismatch for all intents and purposes. I know it went in as a pick'em, but I thought just the fact that the Bengals were 100%, that offensive line that had been injured, had performed very well in Buffalo for the Bengals. And I just thought that at the end of the day, the Bengals were a better team with playing against a hobbled Patrick Mahomes. And I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. The Bengals were not able to take care of business, and my money went down the tubes. Yeah, my money went down the tubes. So I want to, if y'all, but again, these picks are for entertainment purposes only. Entertainment purposes only. So, but if you do decide to bet using my picks, and you win, throw your uncle something. Throw your favorite Uncle Rock something. You know, I could use it. All right. I could use a little change if you use my picks to win. All right. So the next game was the game. It was early in the day. It was a game I was looking forward to watching. I thought the game was a mismatch from the beginning. I thought the game was a mismatch even when Brock Purdy was playing. Brock Purdy ended up getting hurt, and it was a mismatch all the way. I thought this was easy money right from the start. I told y'all this last week. It was easy money. Take Philly and the points, and you and cash your check in. I told you that from the very jump. And those of you that took my advice won. Those of you that didn't, y'all took an L. So the Philly game was most definitely a situation where the Philly game was most definitely a situation where I like that sound right there. Anyway, I like that sound. A Philly game was definitely a situation where we were able to cash some checks. And so it did not live up to the big tough matchup or close game that people thought it would be. I never thought it would. The media thought the game was going to be a close game, whatever. I didn't think it was going to be close at all. I just thought the rookie would be overmatched. He didn't play well against Dallas, right? I thought the Philly defense was better than Dallas, and I thought the Philly offense would be more effective than the Dallas offense, thus creating a situation where Philly would blow them out. That's exactly what happened. People are going to blame it on the fact that Brock Purdy was injured. I don't. It would have happened either way, in my opinion. At the end of the day, San Francisco should have never been in that situation. San Francisco should have never been in that situation, period, for one reason, that the Cowboys should have won that game. There's no reason the Cowboys should have lost that game, period, point blank. And that brings me to my next slide. I got a slide for that too. So overall, for the playoffs, I was 4-2. 4-2. That's 66%. Now you say 66% is failing in school, but in betting, 66% actually outperforms the average professional bettor. The average professional bettor, you can look this up, go on Google. You can look this up. The average professional bettor has a winning percentage of 53 to 55, right? Uncle Rock is giving you 66% winning percentage, right? 66%. And when we get in this NBA, because my boy LeBron, I'm a Lakers fan. Well, let me just say this. I'm a LeBron fan. But when we get in this NBA, you're going to see that is, to me, the NBA is more predictable than the NFL, if you ask me. But anyway, we'll get into that later in the year. But yeah, I'm 66% winning percentage. I'm better than the average professional bettor so far. Like I say, don't use these picks. These are for entertainment only, right? Remember, these picks are for entertainment only. Don't put your rent money on it. Don't put your light bill money on it, your mortgage money. Don't put none of that money on it. These are for entertainment purposes only. And as I bring that up, this is a great opportunity for me to tell you I'll have much more betting, much more gambling content on my channel. You can go in the description. Hey, my birthday was actually Saturday, right? My birthday was Saturday. I want to thank my family for having a great birthday party. I had a lot of fun. We had a great time. But my birthday was Saturday. So this is what you can do for me on my birthday. Go in the description. You'll see a link to my channel, right? Click subscribe and the bell for notifications, and I'll be having more content for you as well. Just go there. You can also catch me on the Sexy Cigar Lounge podcast. Me and my other cast members, we talk about everything from marriage, relationships, all kind of stuff. So you definitely can catch us at the Sexy Cigar Lounge podcast. Just search it on YouTube, and you'll find it. So again, I just wanted to add that up before we move there. Now, we want to get to, now this right here is near and dear to my heart. These are my beloved Dallas Cowboys. Anybody knows I'm a Cowboy fan. And just so happened, Scotty is also a Cowboy fan. And so today, this week, we got great news. We got great news this week. Absolutely amazing news this week, if you really want to know. Because Kellen Moore was fired as offensive coordinator. And though I do blame Dak for his performance, I blame Dak for not performing well during the divisional playoff game. I do blame Dak, but I believe he did not get any help from Kellen Moore. And I am happy that he will no longer be the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm looking forward to who may replace him, but I think ultimately the play caller is going to be the head coach, which is Mike McCarthy. At the end of the day, I think Mike McCarthy he was a play caller in Green Bay. He wants to be the play caller for the Dallas Cowboys. I believe this season coming up is a make or break season for him. It's a make or break season. And at the end of the day, if you're going to go into a make or break season, you want to go into that situation doing it your way. And I believe that he wants to call plays for the Dallas Cowboys, and that's what's going to happen. All right. Well, with no further ado, I want to introduce somebody that is not in no way a stranger to the SWAC, right? Let me get to my notes here so I can tell you about him. Coach Cole is no stranger to the SWAC or HBCU sports. He was a decorated scholar athlete at Texas Southern, lettering in both football and basketball. Also, while attending Texas Southern University, he earned the President's Award for being an outstanding scholar athlete in 1985. As an assistant coach and offensive coordinator at Tennessee State, his offenses set records in the OVC and for total yardage and scoring, As an OC at Tennessee State, they became the only HBCU to win a predominantly white conference, winning back-to-back titles in 98 and 99. In 2007, he was named head coach of his alma mater and would eventually win the SWAC championship in 2010. With no further ado, I want to introduce you to my friend. Let me get where I need to be. My friend, Johnnie Cole. All right, Coach Cole, it's been a pleasure, man. We've been trying to do this for a while. I'm so glad we were able to do this on the Off Script channel, man, where his audience can really, somebody that they probably already know, somebody that's no stranger to the SWAC. Man, I just want to thank you for coming on, man. And can you just tell us what's going on with you, Coach Cole, to get started?
Oh well, I'm chilling. I'm up here in the Fort Worth area and working as a assistant athletic director over central site facilities here in the FWISD. But pretty soon I'll probably be making some moves. But man, I'm feeling good. Hey, they gave us the day off because of the weather. I'm not usually used to this because I'm from Ohio, so this weather we got down here is nothing. But hey, I'll take it. And like you say, you got this time I'm sipping on some sausage and crackers and having me a cold one too, Coach. After that type of day.
Now tell them you in Texas, so you're not just sipping on sausage. You sipping on what? I mean, you eating what? Summer sausage.
Summer sausage, yeah.
Summer sausage. Summer sausage, and I'm bet there's some rat cheese not too far away.
Hey, look here. You know it. You know the ingredients, but no, I'm doing great, man. And one thing about me, I've always had great opportunities, and I'm glad that you brought me on your show. No show is too little, and no show is too big. But it's all about the information.
Absolutely, absolutely, Coach Cole. Again, me and you've talked a number of times offline, and you've given me each and every time I've gotten kind of my wires crossed about what's going on in HBCU sports. You've often called me and let me know what's really going on, not only in the public but also behind the scenes. And so we're going to take on a topic that I think you have a lot of input on. And so we're gonna talk about the impact of celebrity coaches on HBCUs, right? But before we do that, I want to do something a little more lighthearted first, right, Coach? And this is something I came up, wanted to talk to you about, wanted to see what you thought about it since you've been in sports for so long, as a player, as a coach, And so when you talk about something like this, that I think is a historical matchup, two black quarterbacks in the NFL playing in the Super Bowl, as a person who's been in sports, in football, let's not say sports, in football for such a long time, did you ever think you would see the day where this would happen?
Well, without a doubt, I go back a long way. Before I even knew my name, I had a football in my hand. You got to understand, I'm the youngest of the 9 boys, so football was played actually in my living room. But it was, it was coming. We dominated the other sports, the defensive front, the secondary, wide receivers, and the tailback. It was just a matter of the opportunities that have been given to us from the backs of people like Shea Harris and Doug Williams and Willie Todden and so on and so on. So hey, it's just a matter of time, and it's just a matter of time before the African Americans start taking over a whole bunch of sports. Now you see ladies in gymnastics. You see more black men now in playing tennis. So you'll see as it gradually change. Let's face it. And what we got to understand as black folks is there's more colored people in this world, on this planet, than there is white. Not to say that there's a difference, because people are people to me.
Yeah, I think for me, when you go back to, I was 18 years old when Doug Williams won the Super Bowl in I believe 1988, and I didn't realize at the time how big that moment was. Maybe it was 87, I can't remember, but I can't remember. I don't remember it being that big of a deal. It didn't become that big a deal until I realized, maybe a few years later, I realized what had happened. And sometime in the moment, when you're very young, like I was a teenager for the most part, I didn't realize how big that was. And I wish I had, because, I was actually rooting against the Redskins because I was a Cowboy fan. But at the end of the day, I think that, the fact that he won in 88, and then, it's almost 35 years later. Now we have two quarterbacks in the Super Bowl to, like I said, I think it's an amazing thing. I think at the end of the day, the black quarterback is here to stay in the NFL. And for many years, they tried to downplay the influence of the black quarterback because they had guys like Brady, Manning, and Aaron Rodgers that were at the top of their game. But now, as those guys age out of the sport, you realize that the younger guys that are coming up, there happen to be black quarterbacks. When you look at the guys that are up and coming, the large majority of those guys are black quarterbacks. And what always has frustrated me, and this has nothing to do with this particular subject, but black quarterbacks always had a really short shelf life in the NFL, meaning that they couldn't be journeyman quarterbacks. They couldn't be, backups. Either they were starters. Really, they either had to be superstars or they were out of the league, Coach. And I think that was largely unfair to the black quarterback, because I don't think he got – a lot of times you had guys that didn't get the requisite amount of time to truly develop into the players that they could be.
Well, ain't no question. You can't forget Steve McNair, You can't forget Cam Newton, other black quarterbacks that played in the Super Bowl. But yeah, it was big time for Doug Williams. You know, he's a great, very good friend of mine, and you know, he's a HBCU guy, and that even made it special. The only way that I ever even got to Texas Southern University, Doug was the first big time black quarterback that I seen. You know, I grew up kind of like in the '60s, back in when the Kansas City Chiefs was winning. When I used to love Lynn Dawson, you know, so you know, I played quarterback in college, so I understand the, you know, the offense and the dynamic with the defensive line uh, is so much faster now. You know, they're getting away for so many pocket guys. So one of the things that black quarterbacks can do is extend plays. What is that? If he gets flushed out of the pocket, he can either take off or he can run fast enough to keep a defensive line guy off of him. So, you know, but even now with Jalen Hurts, you know, I still feel that the NFL and the people don't give this kid his just due because he's a mild mannered. I guarantee if he's was a white guy, and this ain't about racism, but if I guarantee you, this kid is mild mannered. He do everything right. He wins. He won at Alabama, left Alabama, never bashed the school, left, went to Oklahoma, took them right back to the championship. He get in the pros, he's in the Super Bowl. And here's the crazy part about it that people don't even talk about. He's a coach's son. Now, when you see
and that doesn't get
Manning's,
enough play. That
yeah,
really doesn't get a lot of play.
it don't. You see the Mannings, you know, you see these other cats, you know, where their father's in the coaching profession, they're all over the news. This kid's father should be all over the news. This kid's father is a coach here in Texas.
Well, you bring that up. Interestingly, they mentioned that Joe Burrow's dad is a coach all the time. All the time they mention that Joe Burrow's
go
dad
through and they put the
they very seldom mention. Very seldom do they mention that Jalen Hurts played for his father as well at Channelview, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you're absolutely right. Now, in keeping with this conversation, today I came up, I was thinking, you know, I had my, I want to go through my top 5 black quarterbacks, coach. Okay. And I know you're going to have something to say. I'm going to go through my top 5 and then I'm going to mention honorable mention. If you have any issue with my top 5 at any point, I want you to, you know, give me your feedback. So at number 5 for me, and like I say, this is for me. This is not based on any other. This is my subjective opinion based on what I like in quarterbacks, right? So again, this is my subjective opinion, but I think I'm a fair person. So number 5 for me is Lamar Jackson. And these are the top 5 black quarterbacks of all time. So number 5 is Lamar Jackson, right? Number 4 is Mike Vick, right? Mike Vick is actually my favorite. Him and Randy Moss are my 2 favorite football players of all time, believe it or not. Him and Randy Moss. So for me to put Mike at 4, it really hurt me. But I had to really look at it objectively and understand that there are more accomplished black quarterbacks than Mike Vick out there. Number 3 is Aaron McNair. And I look at him as, when you talk about longevity and accomplishments, and you got to realize in 2003 he was the NFL MVP. A lot of people don't realize that, Coach, but in 2003 he was the NFL MVP. Next is Warren Moon. I like, you know, for many years I consider Warren Moon the best black quarterback to ever play, the best black quarterback to ever play. But now, in my opinion, he's been unseated by none other than Patrick Mahomes. So what do you think so far, Coach? What do you think so far? I got some honorable mentions but I'm gonna let you comment on my top 5 before I go to the honorable mention.
You know, I like your group. You know, Lamar is still playing. Michael Vick, I can't put him in the top 5 because he never went to the Super Bowl. You know, I don't even think they got close. But he is a good one. Don't get me wrong. The only two questions I got down there is Michael Vick and Lamar, and you got to put Doug Williams in there because, you know, he he went to the Super Bowl and set all type of passing records. You know, and Doug Williams just didn't get a chance because he went to
Look like coach may have disconnected or is having. I okay. I see you, coach. You back at it. So again, what do you guys think out there? What do you guys think? What do you think, Miss Body? What do you think, Booker Wilson, DJ Seti? What do you guys think about my top five? What do you think about the top five? Top five black quarterbacks to ever play the game. Okay. So again, I also want to let you guys know that I did come up with an honorable mention, right? I did come up with an honorable mention. So there are some black quarterbacks that I did want to have honorable mention. If you want to, and again, the call-in line is open. The call-in line is open. Call-in line is open. If you want to call in, have a comment, let me know what you think of my list. Again, I gave after very careful consideration, I gave all these guys consideration of being in my top five. And at the end of the day, I just didn't, for me, and notice this, I put in the Seahawk Russell Wilson, not the Denver Russell Wilson. I put in the Seahawk Russell Wilson in honorable mention. Because the Denver Russell Wilson don't belong nowhere near this list. But the Seahawk Russell Wilson, for sure, in my opinion, did deserve honorable mention. Let me see what other comments we have here. Now, Russell has one championship. Russell has one championship. He only has one. Let me see what else we got. Lamar got to go. See, y'all, okay, y'all want to, let me go back to this. Y'all want to go back to this, right? Y'all want to take Lamar out, but you also got to realize Lamar was the NFL MVP in his second season, and he has only played in the league 4 or 5 years, man. And when you look at what he's accomplished so far, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, Lamar is on the rise. Lamar is on the rise, and for me, with as much football as he has left in him, he has to be in the top 5 black quarterbacks to ever play the game. And Karen Griffin said, that's right. The Seahawk Russell. Yeah. You don't want no parts of the Denver Russell. The Denver Russell is straight garbage. You hear me? He is straight garbage. Hopefully we can get Coach back on here shortly, because I really wanted to have this next discussion with Coach. I can have it with just y'all, but I really want to have it with Coach because it's a very important discussion to have. The next one we were going to have. We're going to again. What do y'all think about the honorable mention? Who would you take out and who would you put in the group? Now, Coach immediately said Doug Williams belongs in the top 5. Again, Dante Culpepper. Let me see what Mr. Campbell says. That would be a great list, but Randall has to be ahead of Mike Vick because Randall won 2 MVP awards and was a prototype in that era. You know what? You got a really good point. I can't argue that because Randall did win 2 MVPs, right? And he won MVP like in 90 or 91, and then came back and won it in like 98, I think. Yeah. Randall definitely. Hey, out script. Scotty, going on with that bullcorn, man. That Quincy Carter. But I do think Quincy Carter is worth mentioning for this reason. Quincy Carter was the first black quarterback to start for the Dallas Cowboys, if I'm not mistaken. And I was at that game, and it was against Tampa Bay. I was at that game, if I'm not mistaken. I know I was at the game when he started the like the 2003, 2002 season as a starting quarterback, and they played Tampa Bay, and I think that was the first game that he started as a black. That was the first game that was started by a black quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. So, all right. So we can move to our next topic, man. I really was. Hopefully, Coach Cole comes back, man, where we can really open up this conversation, man, and really have a real serious discussion. And this discussion I want to have with all you HBCU fans out there, man. I really want to talk to you guys and have this conversation. It is the impact of the celebrity coach on HBCU football. Now, you got to let me give it to you from my perspective, and I'm not a HBCU guy, right? I've said that before. You guys know that I'm not an HBCU guy, but from where I look at it, right, I look at it as a net positive for HBCU football for a couple of reasons. One reason is because it gives you the eyes, it gives you the kind of attention that you want on your sport. Having a celebrity coach gives you the kind of attention you want on what I consider, since I've been watching it the last 3 years, a really solid brand of football, right? A really solid brand of football. Just like anything, it could be better, but I think it is a solid brand of football, and the culture that surrounds the football makes it a tremendous product, right? The culture that surrounds it makes it a tremendous product, and in FCS, it's second to none. It's second to none when you talk about FCS football. It's second to none when you talk about HBCU football. Now, the other thing that it does, in my opinion, and this is something I really wanted to hear from Coach Cole, I think bringing celebrity coaches into the fold gives HBCU coaches an opportunity to elevate into other conferences that are not HBCU conferences. And I think that's very important for HBCU coaches to have upward mobility. I think upward mobility gives guys something to shoot for. And when you have upward mobility, it gives them an incentive to be better and do better. To be better and do better. Now, not everybody will view it as that. I know a lot of you guys view Deion leaving as him leaving the SWAC, leaving his people, leaving all this here kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, right, there are levels to this, right? There's levels to coaching, there's levels to playing, and the HBCU is at a certain level. And FBS is at another level. And the NFL is at even another level. Is at even another level. So I think it's incumbent on all coaches to be given opportunities to elevate, man, in their said profession. It doesn't give, if all you're ever gonna be is a HBCU coach once you go into HBCU football, to me, that leads to a level of mediocrity, a level of complacency. It to me, it stagnates innovation. You know, all these things, man. It makes for, at the end of the day, and I'm not talking about players so much, but I'm talking about from a coaching standpoint. When you don't have anything to shoot for as a coach, then you tend to dwell in mediocrity. All right. Is anybody able to call the line? call the phone line? I have it up. It's up. Can I get anybody to call in to make it? Now, I did a sound test and everything. Hold on. I did a sound test and everything. Okay. Let me. All right. Look like we got my man back. All right. Look like we got my man back.
Man,
right,
what's
Coach.
going on, man? I apologize, Coach. Man, I apologize. I think it was on my end. Hey, I didn't pay my electric bill.
I see you relocated to the trophy room, Coach.
Yeah, you know, I won a couple trophies here and there, but it's gonna straighten out in a minute.
All right, Coach. What we were talking about, Coach, is
Yeah.
I wanted to bring this. I wanted to have this discussion with you. Hey, Coach, could you turn your background down?
Yeah, I'm gonna turn. Yeah, I had to jump on. I heard what you were saying about the coaches. Go ahead. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine, Coach.
Okay, go ahead.
So this is what I'm saying, Coach. Like I made 2 points. I said, I think at the end of the day, celebrity coaches are good for HBCU football because of the eyes that it brings, on the attention that it brings to the sport, right? The attention that it brings to the sport makes it highlights a great product that already exists. Like I don't see celebrity coaches coming in and necessarily changing things, but they give a platform. Their notoriety allows for HBCU football to be shared with people that otherwise would not be interested. Yeah. And so that's one great contribution that celebrity coaches bring on. The other deal that celebrity coaches bring on is that I think celebrity coaches provide a platform for coaches in the SWAC or in HBCU football to be elevated into PWIs or FBS football, or maybe even the NFL football, because at the end of the day, I think if you don't have anything to shoot for as a coach, it creates a level of mediocrity and it stifles innovation. So I just want to hear your thoughts, Coach, about that. Those are my thoughts, as it relates to celebrity coaches.
First and foremost, Deion Sanders is on a different level. He would be on the Muhammad Ali, the Jesse Owens level. The rest of those guys is not on that level. And it ain't the first time that we've had pro coaches. We've had Tyrone Wheatley up in Morgan State. My coach, if he would have got the job during this time, he coached in 3 Super Bowls. He was there with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Lionel Taylor, he's in the Ring of Fame. We had Larry Little down. He coached at Bethune-Cookman in North Carolina Central. So having a professional coach is just not it. Now, and there's a difference between their levels. The next was, we talk about Ed Reed. I knew Ed Reed as a player, but I've never been on TV and watched Ed Reed on some type of commercial or represent some company. But of course, we've seen Deion, and not only did Deion play football, he played baseball, and just his personality. So I'm not into the celebrity coach. I'm a coach myself. I think what's happening is and maybe you don't know, Rodney, there's only been 3 coaches now that have left HBCU football and went on to a PWI school, and that's Deion this year. Then we had the white coach that was at Alcorn. I always forget his name for some reason.
Jay Hobson.
Jay Hobson left Alcorn and went. And then we had another coach back in '78. He left South Carolina and went to Wichita State. Now that's 3 coaches in my 40 years of playing. So when you say that these guys come in and help us maybe get some jobs other places, that ain't happening. the thing about it is we got to take care of us. And the thing what's happening to us is that when you look at black colleges, at one time there's 20 FCS schools play football.
Mm-hmm.
And out of the 20 schools, 10 of them had white coordinators, offensive, defensive coordinators. But then you look at our counterparts at the PWI schools, we don't even have jobs over there. Has it gotten better? I'm gonna be a Mexican, Quite, very little. You know what I mean? And even then, when we get jobs, Rocky, back when we got jobs, I think it was 2008 or 2009, I gotta check my record, we had 10 black coaches. And only 2 of them had more than 4 black guys on their staff. The rest of them had 3, 2, 1. We're not even helping ourselves. I don't want to go to the pros because they own their teams. They're not getting federal money. They're not getting state money. I'm talking about state schools. I've been in this business for 40 years, and they say you got to cut your hair, get out the locker room. Get out the lobby when we go to the American Football Coach Association. They tell us you got to branch on to some white guy. You know, make sure your hair, make sure you groom. I've done all that. I've had one of the best offenses ever, not just at one school, several. But the playing field ain't even. So the way I look at it is, being an HBCU graduate, HBCU coach, we got to take care of our own. You know, we hollering, oh, we don't have no head coaches, but we don't have no offensive defensive coordinators.
So coach, why you bring up a very interesting dynamic. Let me so you're saying that at one point there were 21 FCS black schools,
yeah,
and more than half of them had white coordinators.
Yes. Not
Wow.
more, right about half. And that's still too many. And then now the white coaches are coming in and actually taking over our jobs. You know, HBCUs was made, to give us opportunities. And now we're taking those opportunities, from us. They're not making it. Just 95% of the athletic directors in college football are white. And I'm not saying it's a racial thing, but I know it is, and I'm not saying that because it ain't in all cases, but they gonna hire people who look like them, act like them. Now, and then we got all black athletic directors. They're not taking our athletic directors and taking them to white schools. They're not taking our presidents to white schools. So why all of a sudden we taking our jobs and our opportunities, and we giving them away?
Yeah, well, that's interesting, Coach. So you're saying, so we at FCS schools, we know how many blacks actually coach at FCS school. I mean FBS schools, right?
Yeah.
They're less than.
I think it's about 7 or 8 coaches.
Yeah, you're talking about 3 or 4% of the population.
Over 118 power big time schools, yes.
So, and you're talking about, but when you talk about black college football and FCS black college football, we're hiring white coaches as coordinators, and I don't, in my opinion, I don't necessarily think that's necessarily a racial thing, but my point in bringing this up is that we're denying opportunities for guys who could be prepped for head coaching jobs, and we're giving those white guys opportunities, and they're gonna go ahead and be able to be qualified for jobs that white guys won't be, that our HBCU coaches will not be able to accept anyway. They'll be able to, for lack of a better word, they'll be able to leapfrog the guys that they coach under
because they got the experience. They had the experience. And see what we done, and what Eddie Robinson. I had a chance when I played with Willie Todd. We used to travel on the bus. We had Eddie Robinson. We had Marino Castle. We had W.C. Gordon. We had Archie Gunsling Corner. We all used to ride on the bus. And I just used to sit right behind the coaches and just hear them talk. You know, and one thing Eddie Robinson said, what's gonna mess up this conference is when we start letting non-athletic people run this conference. And that's what happened. Look at all our ADs. Look at our commissioner. He's never played sports before. So, and then they start making decisions. It's no more that the head coach, they want a head coach on the campus to be the big man on the campus no more. Look at all our black colleges. No head football coach in black college make more than the president. That only happens in HBCUs. You know what I mean? Tell me, if we have a chemist seminar, English symposium, or the president have a fundraiser, there's no place on a college campus that the head coach, when there's on Saturday afternoon, gonna bring 20, 30, 40, 50, and at some schools 100,000. That's why you pay your head coach. That's why when you choose your head coach, it ain't about your friend. It's about, let me look at these resumes. Where's my program? Am I in a perennial losing program? Well, if I'm in a perennial losing program, why would you want a young guy to run a perennial losing program? And that's the same thing I say about some celebrities. You know, when you bring like an Ed Reed in, instead of you bringing a Rick Comedy in. Rick Comedy been coaching for 40 years. He has more strings on the recruiting part of it. Now, Ed can bring some money in, but that's just that ain't even a quick fix. That's just a donation. And what has happened is that these presidents and these ADs are being lazy and going out and getting these celebrities to raise money when that's what they supposed to do. The football coach supposed to do is win.
So repeat that for a minute, because that's something I heard you say on your show, the HBCU Stroll. You can find it on YouTube.
Every Monday from 12 to 1.
Every Monday from 12 to 1. And I heard you say that on your show. Now, that's one of the selling points that celebrity coaches have, is that they can expand the donor base, right? That's one of the things that they say, okay, Ed Reed can come in and he can get Shaq and LeBron and all these guys to donate or whatever. At the end of the day, in the way you see it, correct me if I'm wrong, Coach Cole, you see it as the president recruiting people into their institution to do their job. Is that how you view it?
That's how I view it. Would you give a kid that only rode a bicycle, but because he can ride this bicycle so great and he's a celebrity, to the keys to your car, and he ain't never drove a car before? No. And that's what's happening. You know, presidents supposed to go raise money. Athletic directors supposed to go money. When you got a winning coach, if Nick Saban show up at an Alabama function, it's sold out because Nick Saban is coming in. That's what they're supposed to do. When you get a winning coach, you're supposed to sell the winning coach. People like winners. Let's give me another example. Tiger Woods. When Tiger Woods would win on the weekend, all the black folks would come to work on Monday. That's a known statistic. Because it's winning, everybody supports a winner. You know? And what happened my view of the Ed Reed and Bethune-Cookman situation, see, Ed came in thinking that he was a partner. They made it seem like it was a partner. I heard the president talk and I heard him talk. The president said, well, Ed, we're excited to have you and what you can bring. But we also want you to believe that you're getting an opportunity because you never coached before. So that's more of a what, Rocky? A partnership.
Yeah, a partnership.
Ed forgot that you work for Bethune-Cookman. All that whole group forgot they work for Bethune-Cookman. So Ed came in and said, well, I'm going to say what I want because I'm bringing y'all money. The president is like, go, 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 because he had keys. You know, the AD was saying, Well, I thought he was just coming in town to find a place to stay. No, he had keys, but they didn't expect for Ed to go way to the left.
Well, let me push back on you. Let me push back on you a little bit, right?
Yes, sir.
So I look at it a different way. After talking to you, I talked to you last week, and we talked again earlier. Yesterday, and I kind of changed my position on it somewhat in this regard. They brought Ed in to do a job, right, and to address issues that probably was beyond his skill level, right? They should have never been. They were so institutionally broke. They should have never been looking for an inexperienced coach. They should have been looking for an experienced coach who has solved and dealt with problems, right? Because as you unpeel the onion, Coach Cole, you see where there's so many institutional issues, not only in the athletic program, but the school as a whole. And so why would you bring a guy with limited experience and exposure in coaching into that situation? So again, I think it was just like I said last week, I think it was a poor marriage. I think it was a marriage where it was a shotgun wedding. These people met and got married, and then they realized that her feet stink and he snores. And nobody wants to put up with each other at this point because and so that's what I think it was. But I think it's a little deeper than that in this situation is if Bethune-Cookman was honest about what they were as an organization, they should have never been looking for a first-year head coach or a head coach with no experience. They should have been looking for a seasoned head coach who was accustomed to being a coach and also an administrator, someone who can solve problems. Someone who can solve problems, not necessarily complain about things or out problems, but someone who can look at a situation and then solve that problem. Again, me and you've had many, many conversations offline, and you brought up, I'm not going to bring the institution up because that's your business, but you saw situations where they needed lockers. They needed lockers at a particular school that you worked at. And rather than out in the school or making that situation public, what did you and your assistant coaches go do?
Well, I can say the school because that president gave me my first head football coaching job, and that was at Lane College under Dr. Wesley C. McClure. And, he had about 60 lockers, and the locker room was tore up, and they never used the shower. And I knew as a program, see, it's all about what program that you want to run. It's all about building young men from the ground up, both academically, socially, spiritually, and physically, and athletically. And you got to hit all those avenues. If you want to build a program, if you want a quick fix, then you don't care about that stuff. But eventually that stuff will catch up to you. So we went to a Home Depot and we got the money out of our pockets and went and bought wood and saws and nails and we put an extra 60 lockers in the locker room. And we actually took another office and made that out of our dressing room. You know what I mean? And, if anybody knows Jacoby Jones, who played with the Ravens, I remember lining the field because he had like 25 teams coming to see him run. So, and that was another thing. I mean, we tilled fields, threw seeds out, watered the grass out of homemade sprinkler system. That's black college football. You know what I mean? It's HBCU. Is it right? No. But what we got to understand is how much does the administration know about running a football program? See, Rocky, we were so good back in the 60s and 70s that that's what have been carried on to even now. We still got coaches making $30,000, living in the office. We don't know that coaches are a very important part of running a football program. We got to look at the athletic department as a money revenue sport. You got to put some money in it. We as blacks black schools, we don't know that just yet now, because we don't want to bite into the fact that athletics has been carrying us since Jesse Owens back in 1936, Wilma Rudolph, Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown. All these great athletes have opened the door for us. But we, as on the education system, these presidents and stuff, have shone away from making that the big stick on campus. So I want to keep my neck on it. Yeah, I get a head coaching money, but I'm not gonna get assistant coaches no money. We got to be able to pour the money into the program, and we have the money. It's just about managing it right, like we supposed to. Most states don't fund athletic programs.
So Coach, I'm gonna change gears just a little bit, because you guys on your show yesterday, I suggest anybody who wants to go down memory lane with HBCU football to tune into your show. I won't give away any of the content, but it is definitely well worth going and checking out HBCU Stroll. But this is a question that I didn't get a chance to ask, and but it was asked on your show, right? With the influx of celebrity coaches into HBCU football, what is a coaching resume worth nowadays?
It ain't even worth the paper that it's on. They have you now. You got to fill out an application online, which take probably about an hour, and then you send your resume in, and then next thing you know, they hire a guy that ain't got even a speck of experience that you have. Like I said, my brother's out of coaching, and it's just so happened my brother, he's the only black coach in black college football to win a PWI conference, not 1 year, but 2 years. He's the last coach that finished #1 in the country. Now, yeah, did he have some issues? I've had issues. Everybody have had some issues, but the thing about us and our counterparts is able to move on. When we look at each other, it's like, oh, I don't want to hire my replacement.
So
I want to hire a winner. I want to hire a winning coach.
Let me step in here for a moment. And say this. Like, and you brought up something very interesting. You said, I've had issues, my brother's had issues, right? And I don't, you can disclose whatever the details of those issues, whatever. But we do know that Lane Kiffin had issues. We do know that Steve Sarkisian had issues. We do know that Hugh Freeze had issues, right?
Urban
Meyer had issues. We do know that all those coaches had issues. But at the end of the day, why is it that if a black man in HBCU football has an issue, he's
castrated. I said he's castrated by our own people.
So my point in bringing this up is that you had a show yesterday where you had 4 coaches online that had won SWAC and MEAC championships
and national,
and OVC championships. All those guys are currently out of coaching, and you have colleges struggling, HBCU struggling to field teams. And again, me and you talked offline about everybody's had their situations and circumstances, but white coaches seem to get opportunities at the highest level. But even within our own people, you guys are not given opportunities after having lots of success at the highest level of black college football. What do you attribute that to?
Well, first of all, I don't want nobody to run around and think. I've never had any handcuffs. I've never been to jail. I don't have.
Okay.
I ain't beat my wife. none of that, or my brother. It was just some violations and NCAA violations, which we all know at black schools. It sure ain't paying nobody money. It sure ain't changing no damn grades, because I'm a scholar myself. I got a degree in civil engineering and a master's in curriculum and studies. But I mean, that's how we are. We are as a people that way. And again, I told you, and again, in the 60s and 70s, the head football coach used to carry the big stick on campus. As the 80s came, all that started changing around. You had great coaches coming in the 80s. We were sending all those guys to the pros back then. But then what the PWIs figured is like, we got to get some of those. So as they start taking our athletes, they start building up their programs. And later on, maybe I could get into showing how we probably we need to be better on the financial end of how we handling our athletic programs. And I'll show you how they done it back in the 70s and 80s compared to we're just now looking at it and getting out there. But now we're changing over to let's bring a celebrity coach over and see if he can call some of his friends to bring some money. This ain't no charity thing. When you talking about bringing somebody over there that's not qualified, that's not right to the kid. I mean, to the student athletes. It's not right to the university, it's not right to the alumni. So I definitely have a problem with that.
No, and of course, and I brought that to bring up the fact that a lot of these schools they're trying to look, like you pointed out, they're looking for a quick fix with coaching. They're looking at coaching, as you said, you're looking at coaching to do some of the presidents and the AD's job. And that's what this situation is really all about.
Well, one of the things, though, I want to bring this to your attention. Then when we start hiring celebrity presidents, when we start hiring presidents that got connections, to Amazon and some, because see, that's what some of the PWI schools are going. They're getting out of the traditional way of hiring an educated or a doctor president. They're starting to hire guys in their president's work that can raise some money. Same thing with the athletic department. We need athletic ADs that can raise some money, that can be creative. And the money is there. I mean, Rocky, we've been buying helmets and shoulder pads and books and electricity and chairs and furniture for 50 years. You mean to tell me we can't go to some of these people that we buy stuff from and tell them to donate money back? It's just so many ways that you can go raise funds now. And then here's the other caveat. I was gonna say, if back in the day when my brother played in Nebraska, they used to play 2 teams or 2 or 3 teams. I mean, Rocky, they beat the hell out of them. And I used to say, hey, why did he play them? Well, what was happening is those schools was getting money from Nebraska. You know what I mean? Game money. But they were taking that money and putting it back into their athletic program. So why we can't, see, I'm an economist. If it works for them, it works for me. So why can't we play some money games? And see, what happens is the school fronts the athletic department money, okay? When I was a head coach, they would give me $400,000 operation budget. That's scholarships, and that's travel, and that's pay. Well, to me, the school should take the scholarships off, and then and paying the coaches, and then give me operation fee. So when I play my 2 games, let's say I got 2 money games at $400,000 a piece. Take $200,000, pay the school back, take the 6, put it back into the school's program. Okay, pay for your 400, and then you'll have 2. The next year, do the same thing. Now pay the school off the other 2 that you owe them. Take the other, put it back for the program. So then that 3rd year, we'll be doing what, right? We'll be operating on our own. And then we also will be taking what? Ticket sales and concession and parking. It's an easy formula if we would do it. But we take everything and put it in general fund, and next year we start right back in the hole again as an athletic coach.
Well, one of the things that one of the owner of this channel that I'm broadcasting on, Scotty always says is that we don't do good. The HBCU football, they don't do good business, right? They do a great job with promoting the culture and all this here kind of stuff, but they don't do good business. If 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 HBCU football or FC is the biggest brand in FCS football, right? Then
Ain't no question.
they should make the most money in FCS football. And when they sign contracts, they should sign contracts knowing that we are the biggest brand in HBC in FCS football, regardless of any playoff or anything that you may have going on in FCS football. That at the end of the day, HBCU football is the biggest brand in FCS football. And so
I've been saying this for 30 years. For 30 years, coach. If I ever became the commissioner, get with the commissioner in the MEAC, get with the commissioner in SWAC, get together. Package your bowl games, your classic games. Orange City Blossom Classic, Bayou Classic, Southern Heritage Classic. Pay the promoters to promote the game. Put it together in a TV package and go sell it. All those games average 35, 40, 45,000. Go get $100 million contract. The NFL does it. The SEC does it. Notre Dame was the first one who started. Remember Notre Dame got the ABC contract? I think it was over $1 million. That's been about 30 years ago, probably. I know I'm quite sure now Notre Dame went and joined the conference. And like you say, we draw more fans than the half bottom of Division I A schools. We got the band, we got the pageantry, we got the majorettes, we got the football. We got the package, coach. But
so
we just don't want to work together.
But here's the thing. Like, I know people are gonna bring up Deion. I guess people are gonna bring up Deion for a while, right?
Yeah.
But let's be honest, right? Deion didn't create anything in HBCU football. He just sold everything that HBCUs had to offer better than anybody else in HBCU culture.
Coach, but Rocky, he didn't sell that. He sold himself.
I'll have to disagree with you on that because
Go ahead.
Because he was able to use HBCU sports, HBCU culture to he used HBCU culture to enhance his own brand. Meaning, what I'm saying is he used everything around HBCU football and HBCU sports to build to launch his own brand as a coach. And by him doing that, he was also able to sell that better than anybody else in HBCU, better than the commissioner for sure, and better than anybody else prior to being at Jackson State. Like he actually was a great promoter and marketer for HBCU sports. You can't take that away from Deion. I know people are upset with him because of how he did things, this, that, and the other, but him being part of HBCU football and HBCU sports elevated the brand of HBCUs and HBCU sports. He did a great job of not only marketing himself, he did a great job of marketing himself. Don't get me wrong, but he also marketed HBCU sports as well. But again, you can give me pushback on that.
We're gonna agree to disagree, because the stuff that he was saying already had been said. Hell, I recruited 40 Division I A players. That's a thing. You want your players to sit in the front row with the backs to all that is a thing. What he done was put it on social media, which promoted himself as, I'm the first Black coach to ever recruit these type of athletes. I'm the first Black coach I want my players to go to school. It was all a show for him. Not saying that he did not do a good job. Deion, he said what he was going to do, and he do it. I give him the credit for the coaching part. I do. He came in and said he was gonna kick butt, and he kicked butt. And I'm a Deion fan that I want him to do great at Colorado, and I think he's gonna do good at Colorado. Cause see, he recruiting Florida, Texas, Georgia, Alabama, and he's playing against West Coast teams that recruits junior colleges, and they recruit that area. And there's a different type of player between a Southern player and a West Coast. A West Coast kid is more finesse. A Southern kid is more about power. So I think he's going to do a great job at Colorado. Don't get me wrong. Nothing against Deion. Yeah, some light was shining on Jackson State and Deion Sanders, because the rest of the schools, hell, right, Rocky, he kicked all their butt, except for when he went across and and played against some real coaches over there in the MEAC who wasn't caught up on Deion 2 years in a row.
Now I can't argue with that, because Buddy Pugh and Trey Oliver, who you had on your show a couple weeks ago, yes. And Trey seemed like such a nice guy, man. It's unfortunate that Trey went into that game wanting to meet Deion, wanting to spend time with him, wanting to have conversations with him, and Trey realized Deion wanted no parts of that. He was bigger than the Celebration Bowl. He was bigger than the Black College National Championship, and then Trey took issue with that, and he used that fuel to propel not only him but his team to victory.
Take a look at the SWAC championship game after the game. You see him pushing his wife off, saying, "Don't shake the president's hand. You need to move on off. Man, hey, let's go. Y'all need to hurry up and go with this. Y'all need to hurry up and go so he can go catch a plane." That's just simply disrespectful to the commissioner and to the conference. But nobody says nothing about that. It was just disrespectful to the conference. But like I said, he did his due diligence. He brought some light onto the, you can't argue that, but mostly that was about him. But I'm saying that we are the product. We got to love ourselves. We are the product. We got to quit hating on each other and start loving on each other and realize that everything is right there for us if we can just put it together. But we gonna be jealous of each other. We gonna be envious of each other. We don't want the head coach to, the administrators don't want the head coach to get all the PR. And it's just simple. It's just our culture, man. But man, let me tell you something. I wouldn't trade my experience in that I have for HBCU with nobody. If I had to do it again, I'd do it the same way, because I met a bunch of great people along the way, and I had a hell of a time, Coach. It just teaches you more than just the game of football. It teaches you about life and prepare you for those tough times.
Now, this is something that I mentioned before you came on, and you really didn't address it after I brought you on. But do you think celebrity coaches will give other coaches in the SWAC a platform to propel them to coach at other levels? Because one thing that, again, when I became a SWAC fan, for the most part, I realized that there's levels to coaching. And I'm not sure where the SWAC coaches fall in that level. And I think they do some really good things coaching-wise, but when you look at things like penalties and discipline and all those kind of things, SWAC coaching, leaves something to be desired. So as a coach, when you look at SWAC football, SWAC sports, what do you see as a coach evaluating the product?
Well, it's about hiring the right guy. It's about the head football coach, because everything comes from him. And yeah, there's been some black teams, HBCU teams, that's had displayed bad football. And it's the same thing when sometimes I watch the PWIs. I think having a celebrity coach has nothing to do with it. like I told you earlier, the stats don't show that. We've had 3 coaches that leave the HBCU football in 40 years and get a PWI job. And unfortunately that they don't value our football. People don't value our football because we don't value it. We don't put the money in. We don't do what we supposed to do. So it ain't them, it's us.
Hey, Coach, we have a number of callers on the line, man, and I want to get to the callers so they can make
Please,
comments or
please.
whatever. So, caller 9137, you're live on air. Where? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Monty calling from Michigan.
Monty from Michigan. Go ahead, Monty.
So here's what Deion did. I agree with your guess. He didn't reinvent the wheel, but he definitely put spinners on it.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Monty, would you agree with my assessment that he did a better job of marketing the SWAC than anybody in previous history that I'm aware of? He did a great job at marketing the SWAC and HBCU sports.
yeah, I agree with you 100% because not only, like I said, Jackson had a decent attendance already. They had a band, they had the fan base. So it was a good situation versus him going into a Valley or one of the other schools that didn't have, a great attendance. He increased that not only for the home games, but he also increased their away games. Because you got to think about it, certain schools who never even had that many people showing up were selling out and making money as well. The Alabama State for their homecoming, they blew that out the water. Alabama A&M, when they went down there, I think they were saying that was probably one of their largest homecoming attendance in a long time. So he did his job as coming in as being a salesman and promoting the SWAC. Unfortunately, the commissioner and a lot of our own wasn't really ready to capitalize and maximize on the exposure that was coming. And now that he's gone, we're going to see what the SWAC is going to look like this year, because that was the time when you knew you only had him for a short window to try to get a real TV deal for the SWAC or develop a streaming platform, because you don't need, everybody has a cell phone. So streaming is the way to go. Streaming is the way to go. But as we can see, the commissioner, he messed that up, and that's why he's in a lawsuit right now. So unfortunately, we got too many people that's thinking old. And when you look at the difference since he's been in Colorado, how much money they have generated already in ticket sales and season tickets. You can't even get a ticket for Colorado. The wait list, they're not even releasing single game tickets until May 23rd because they have that many inquiries for next season. It's ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah, man. Hey, Monty, I want to thank you for calling in. We got a few more callers. Thank you for your input. Caller 7981, you're live with Rocky on Upon Further Review.
What up, Rocky? What's going on?
What's going on?
Sean,
Where
man.
you calling in?
I just got this Sean. I'm calling from Nashville. I just got a couple of questions, and all right. So here's yes, sir, Nashville.
I used to live out in Smyrna when I was at Tennessee State.
Oh, that's what's up, Coach. That's what's up. Yeah. I ain't too far from old Smyrna. One thing that I wanted to ask, right? Because everything is about value, and I think value was restored in this reemergence over the last 3 years. It made it quite interesting. And playing in the spring after that COVID year, playing in the spring was useful for the SWAC because they got an opportunity to broadcast talent on ESPN. Right. So my question is this: can you, Rocky? This might help your argument. Can you name a point in time where HBCUs and even the commissioner actually truly really valued HBCU football?
Well, I can name a time when I first
Prior
came.
to the last golden age. Prior to the last golden age.
Can we name that? No, the game. I'll be honest. The conference went down because of the choices of the coaches that you choose. You know, I came through the air. You know, with you know, the great ones, and then there's the other ones like your Pete Richardsons. He's in the 2000s. Your Pete Richardsons, your LC Coles, your Rod Broadways, your Comegys. You know, it was all about the leadership of playing great football. In those early 2000s, it was great football. And then after about '05, '06, it just started falling off. It just started falling off. It just started falling off. But you are right. There was a down period. The thing about it, I want you guys to understand is Deion is another level. If Deion was in Hollywood, he would be a Denzel Washington. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no question. Ain't no question. He brought some attention to the conference because of who he was. And he's been doing it for 30 years. Like one of your guests, Stephen Campbell, was saying, he's been doing it for 30 years. But that's a quick fix. You know what I mean? Now he's gone and we looking around, you know, up in the sky and our hands are like this, like, what we gonna do now? Yeah. And we got the product. We got the product. Go ahead, Coach.
No, I just, you know, hey man, I just love. There's so much knowledge and so much, you know, insight to what you're saying, Coach. I hate to step in and interrupt you in any way. We got a few other callers on the line, but yeah, Coach, you've been around this football a long time.
Yes, sir.
A long time, and you not only was around it as a player, but also as a coach, right? And I think we have to be honest about what. And again, Deion brought me into the SWAC, so let's not. I'm not gonna bash Deion.
No.
He wasn't SWAC before he became Jackson State head coach, and I don't know if he's gonna be SWAC after he leave. But at the end of the day, when he was the head coach at Jackson, right, he delivered as far as on the football field. He delivered what he promised.
Yes.
And I can respect that. Now, is that a testament to what a great coach Deion is, or is that a testament to the lack of coaching in the SWAC? What would you say, Coach?
Wow, you putting me on the spot, ain't you? I definitely would have to say it's a lack of, because when I was in the SWAC as a coach, and you had Rob Broadway, national champion, LC Cole, national champion, Pete Richardson, national champion, Rick Comegys, national champion, AJ Johnson, the Alabama A&M gonna have a great team every year. They weren't about to let a new guy come in and win. I remember when I was a player, we hired Lionel Taylor. Lionel Taylor had been to 3 Super Bowls, 2 as a coach, 2 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then he left the Steelers and went with the Rams. Then the Rams met Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl the 4th year. He was in the Ring of Fame of the Broncos. So this guy was a hell of a coach. Eddie Robinson, Marino Castle, W.C. Gordon, they would try to put 50 on us because they felt that was their opportunity to show that we can coach too. And we just didn't get that, I didn't think, when Deion came into the conference. Not saying that Deion wasn't a great coach, because he showed that he was a great coach. Deion did a great job of coaching. But I think if he would have came through there at another time, it wouldn't have been that way. I just feel that way.
Well, hey, Coach, we have another caller. I just want to give this caller an opportunity to make a contribution to the show, man. First off, I want to thank everybody who has tuned in, man. You could be watching cat videos. You could be watching Instagram models, man. You could be watching dances on TikTok. But you tuned in to Upon Further Review on the Off Script channel, man. And I want to thank you for tuning in. So, caller, 6242, you're live on the air with Rocky and Coach Cole. What's your name and where you calling from?
This Bridges on top, from South Carolina, but I reside in Orlando.
Oh man.
What do you want to say, Coach? What do you want to say?
Just I don't know, just to piggyback off Coach's statement. Thank you, Coach, for just coming on and sharing your knowledge. You know, because some of us young people don't know as much as you do. And upon further review, thank you, man, because this is amazing just to hear some Black history stuff and come Black History Month. But I don't know, Coach. I feel like I got to push back on that Deion statement that you said, because he changed a lot of things when Deion came. You know, we didn't have as much 4 stars, 5 stars transfers from Power 5 schools coming to HBCUs. And once, you know, Deion came to the realm, we see a whole bunch of Power 5 kids coming to HBCUs and making changes. And I feel like it can be a lack of coaching for some schools. I ain't gonna say all, because, you know, some schools really have that coach like Buddy Pugh, you know, Willie Simmons, and, you know, a couple of other coaches. But as far as, you know, Deion just dominating and getting people, and I mean, you really can't argue with getting top tier talent and bringing them to the school and dominating like that.
Right. I want you to stay on the line, and I'm gonna give you some history. Do you know that the SWAC,
yes, sir,
is in the top 5 in Hall of Famers? Do you know
yes,
that?
Sir. Definitely do.
Yeah. Who's
yes,
the number one? Who's the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL
Of all time.
Of all time.
Jerry Rice. You already know.
Where he from?
Mississippi Valley.
Okay, Black College. Somebody had to coach him, right? Willie Totten.
Yeah.
Willie Totten, who's my best friend, still got NCAA records. Where is he from? Mississippi Valley. Somebody coached him. I played with 2 wide receivers. One of them is called more passes than anybody in the NFL. His name is Donald Narcisse. He played up in Saskatchewan. When you have those many Hall of Famers, somebody's got to coach those guys. When I coached in 2010, I had 40 transfers on my football team. LSU, I had one from UCLA, Arizona State. What I'm saying is that always been done. The difference between what Deion is doing and what has already taken place back in the day is social media. We've always had great athletes that come. The leading rusher, I think he's the second leading rusher in the NFL history, is Walter Payton. He come from Jackson State. Mm-hmm. Jackie Slater, Aeneas Williams, Mel Blount, all the greats that play now. Michael Strahan, hell, he's been to the moon. Who coached him? Walter Highsmith. I was on that staff. So it's been some great ones come through. You know what I mean? 4-star. See, now they give them stars. Back then, it used to be blue chippers. And then when I was a player, hell, you wasn't nothing. They just found you and you played. You know what I mean? So the difference is the social media part of it. You know, I'm gonna give Deion his flowers, and I'm gonna give you your flowers for even, you know, getting involved with it, because we need more people like you to start watching Black college football. It's great. You know what I'm saying? I don't want us to downplay who we are. If it wasn't no HBCUs, is it a Deion Sanders? The coach I'm talking about. Is it a coach Deion Sanders? Hello? It ain't a coach Deion Sanders, is it?
Say that again?
If it wasn't for Black colleges, would it be a Coach Prime? Because nobody else gave him opportunity, but we gave him opportunity. Right or wrong?
Right.
I don't put Coach Prime over the SWAC conference or HBCUs. Is he great? Yes, he is. But if it wasn't for Black colleges, there wouldn't be no Coach Prime.
Well, let me say this, Coach, and thank you for calling, Carl. I appreciate it, man. That was a great call. Yep. But you bring up a great point, Coach, and I think it's a point that's often missed, and I even miss it sometimes in this regard. is that in the situation where in black college football, the HBCUs did exactly what they were supposed to do, what they were created for in its inception, was to create opportunities for black men and black women that they weren't afforded by white institutions.
Yes, sir. You talking my language now, Coach.
So Deion, again, is it Deion's opportunity that he was given? That's essentially what HBCUs were created for.
Yes, sir.
They were created so that a black man who had a dream of being a coach could go out and coach. He happened to coach other young black men, but at the end of the day, he could pursue a profession that otherwise he would not be able to because he was not given an opportunity with a PWI. And at the end of the day, if you stick just to that narrative about Deion, right? Now, again, if you stick just to that narrative, then and the people of HBCU land accept and embrace Deion for what it truly was, everybody should be championing Deion, and everybody in HBCU football should be rooting for Deion, because that's why HBCUs were created, to create opportunities for black boys and black girls that did not exist at PWIs. And Deion took it and he maximized that opportunity to its fullest extent. And it didn't make him, and again, we knew as he had to prove it on that level in order to get that opportunity that he received. Had he not been given the opportunity by Jackson State, he wouldn't be at Colorado. And we shouldn't begrudge him. And that's what got me, is how people in the HBCU landscape, how they begrudged him for taking that opportunity, when that's exactly why HBCUs were created, so you could have an opportunity, sharpen your skills, get educated, gain knowledge, so you could go out on the open market and pursue your dreams and earn as much money as you possibly can.
Ain't no question, man. You put that so gracefully, Rocky. I can hug you, man. And that's what it's all about with me. It's about us, man. Florida State didn't give Deion no chance. University of Miami ain't gave Ed Reed no chance. Tyrone Wheatley at Michigan ain't got no chance. They had to come to HBCUs, man. And me as an HBCU graduate, it stabs me in the heart that I don't have those opportunities. You know, I had an opportunity, some things happen, and then I don't have an opportunity no more. So when you start asking me about guys who took and made money for other schools and went to play at other schools, no, I don't have no love for that, because I'm an HBCU man. Our job is for HBCU guys.
Hey, Coach, we got another call on the line, Coach. We got a few more. Good, yeah. Hey, caller, 5072. You're live on the air. You're live on the air, caller. Caller, turn down your background. Turn down your background, and you'll be able to listen to us over the phone. You're live on the air, caller. Turn down. I don't know what we got going on. He or she called.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, can you?
Yeah,
Am I on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you need to turn down your background, sir, and listen to us over the phone.
Okay. It's down.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I normally don't call in anywhere but for any show. But I gotta call in to give you guys a little history about HBCU. Okay. Southern University. Did y'all know that every football team in the nation patterned after Southern? From elementary school to the pros, NFL, they pattern after Southern. You know why? Because you've heard of A.W. Mumford, Southern football coach. He was ahead of his time. He pioneered motion in football. If you don't believe me, read his life story. He pioneered motion in football. Everybody picked that up. And so HBCU's been really great. That's all I got to say.
Well, thank you for calling in, man. And you bring up something that when you talk, and this is again, this brings up another conversation that you and I had, Coach Cole, not so long ago, and what we were talking about is that the SWAC specifically was and HBCU football was a place where football innovation happened, right? And for whatever reason, now in HBCU football, they're just doing what all the other schools are doing. You know, there's really no innovative concepts that come out of HBCU football now. They basically copy what's already being done, right? So, and in your situation, I want you to briefly callers, we're going to get right to you, but I want to give Coach Cole opportunity to explain this, because this is something that him and I have talked about offline, is that you were one of the pioneers of the hurry up offense, and how you implemented it profoundly impacted college football. Can you explain that, Coach?
You know, got some, you know, you guys don't understand, the razzle dazzle of football came from black colleges. You know, back in 1984, when I was a player, we played in the no huddle offense. Against Willie Todd and them, they played in a spread, no back, all this different stuff that's going on now. Matter of fact, when I went to Tennessee State, I would do the substitutions. I would hold my big guys on the sideline and until 15 seconds, then run the big guys on and run all the wide receivers off and get in a different formation. And then I would do it again. And actually that changed the referee rule of giving the defense 2 or 3 seconds to be able to line up when there's different substitutions. You know, I changed that rule with my offense. So a lot of stuff, all the stuff that you see come from black college. The thing of it is that all they did gave it a name and put it on film. But I know Mumford. I played at Texas Southern. He played down at Texas Southern, and his son also played at, and I played in Mumford Stadium. So I'm very, very well of a coach from Southern. But hey, let's get some of these guys calling in. You don't want to miss them.
Okay. All right. We got a caller with the last four of 5936. You're live on the air with Coach Cole and Rocky.
Coach Cole.
Yes, sir.
You remember when Alcorn played Mississippi Valley in 1984?
Yes,
they
sir.
had the largest selling crowd in Mississippi to watch a football game. They had 64,000 to watch a football game. That game was televised on CBS.
Yes, sir.
And when Mississippi Valley and Alcorn went into the playoffs, they played Louisiana Tech.
Yes, sir. Mississippi Valley.
Louisiana Tech whooped Mississippi Valley. And they whooped Alcorn. And the next year, Louisiana Tech went into Division I football.
Mm-hmm.
And they played a lot of games, money games. Mm-hmm. That's how they got their program built up. But Alcorn and Mississippi Valley, I'm just showing you this because Louisiana Tech has whooped Alabama twice since they played Alcorn and Mississippi Valley.
Right.
And I got another question to ask you. You mentioned the revenue. Alcorn had a saying out, who that trying to beat them Braves? Who that? And the Saints got it licensed. And we were saying that thing since the 70s. And Jackson State, Deion, he's using Jackson State because that song goes, you better get ready. I'm coming. He used that thing. I'm coming. That's from Jackson State.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that Rocky, that we got to be taking advantage of. You know what I'm saying? And we got all that pageantry, all the sayings, and then what the folks are saying, like Stanford band, they trying to be like our band. Ohio State's band trying to be. Now you got all these PWI schools are trying to be like our bands. We got it, but we gotta embrace it, and make it into money. You know what I mean? We gotta have those creative minds to make. Man, I tell you, I wish you guys could hear Eddie Robinson when he get that microphone, and he have you cracking up, laughing, and Marino Cassim and these greats, man, that would just embrace, coaching on the black college level. It was just something else.
The Saints should have gave Alcorn something for that phrase.
Yeah, they should have, but you can't hate the player, you gotta hate the game.
Hey, caller, thank you so much for calling in, man. We appreciate you calling in, Coach. We coming up on 1 hour and 45 minutes, Coach. I hopefully you can do another 10 minutes with me, man.
I'm having fun, Coach. I'm having fun. You can get the cup on. I'm good. Your cup empty? Because mine's about empty. I'm gonna step and grab me a little more.
Hey,
we can go all night, Coach. I can talk about black college all night.
Well, put it out. Go ahead and get your cup full, Coach. And I'm gonna be on the camera. Go ahead and get you one. And but here's the deal. This is one of the things I'm just going, while Coach is taking a break, I just want to say this, man. One of the things I didn't understand about black college football, man, is how important the band was, man. Like, I didn't get that. Like, I played high school football, I played college ball, I played international ball. We didn't care nothing about no band, but how important the band is as it relates to black college football. And I'm gonna be honest with you, initially it annoyed me because we get to talking about football and then somebody else will pull the band out their ass every goddamn time. We talking about quarterbacks, we talking about wide receivers, linebackers, all this shit kind of stuff. And then every single time somebody will pull the band out their goddamn ass. And they used to get on my nerves. But now, after being a fan for 3 years now, I understand that the band is a part of it. Now, I'll never go to Battle of the Bands. I'll go get me a hot dog when the band is playing. But I do understand it is part of the pageantry and tradition of HBCU football. So I've accepted that and understood that, and I've come to the understanding that it's just part of it. You can't have football in HBCU culture without the band. So, Coach, I'm back. Coach, you're back. And let me ask you this here, Coach. I was talking about how important the band is in HBCU football, right? As a coach, you know that the band can't help you do nothing on Saturday to win a game.
Well, I differ from that now, Coach.
Go okay. Well, explain to me how a trombone player gonna help you when Michael Strahan is coming around that end and Jerry Rice is running a route and Doug Williams is dropping back the pass. Tell me how the band is gonna help you out.
Well, first of all, you gotta go start teaching the band when to play and when not to play. When I got the ball, don't play. When they got the ball, play. That's the first foremost thing. Second thing is that when I was coaching at the schools I was coaching at, we would meet with the band director and we would teach our kids the fight zone. So when the band is coming over there to take over the field, once we getting out of practice, we would sing the fight zone. You know, we would teach them about, hey, after the game, everybody goes to the band. You don't go to your family, you go to the band. So the band would take the fight song and we would teach them the fight song. All right. And then the second song, you got to tell him that when I come out in the locker room before the game, we got to be playing that boom. That talking out, well, I know in Texas Southern, we play that talking out the side of your neck. So you know, look, Coach, you that gets you hype, baby. You ready to rock and roll.
Coach, all that psychological. All that psychological. At the end of the day, that trombone player, that drummer, he can't help you when that guy runs that 9 route, that 9 route up the seam, Coach. He can't help you. I understand y'all believe that the band has influence over the outcome of the game.
And you gotta have that band on your team now. Hey, therefore you be at the one and they be jamming Jay-Z or something. You be like, we can't hear.
Well, now explain this to me because I never understood this, right? Now, in regular football, there are no band rules. There are no band rules, right? Right, but the SWAC has band rules. And can somebody call in and tell us what the band rules if you don't know the band rules, Coach? Coach, we got a caller. Let me go ahead and take this caller. I don't want you online. Caller 6445. You're live on the air with Rock and Coach Cole. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Man, it's Johnnie Johnson calling from Huntsville, Alabama.
Huntsville, Alabama?
A&M.
Nah, man, I'm a Hornet. I'm a Hornet all day long. Coach, I was there when you and your brother was running our program at Bama State, man.
Yes, sir.
And we loved it, brother. We loved it, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if you talk. I'm back.
All right, go ahead.
Can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That Hobo offense. Yeah, that Hobo offense was something serious. Coach, I wanted to ask you, who was the best quarterback you ever coached?
Whew, man, I tell you what, Darnell Kennedy at Alabama State, and a guy named Leon Murray at Tennessee State were the two. And I had another kid named Derek Singleton that I don't talk much about because I coached at the NAIA school, but we finished number 4 in the nation in the country, and he broke every conference record down there. His name is Derek Singleton. So those are 3 that I coached at. I thought could have played at the next level. Darnell Kennedy, Alabama State, I actually played in the Senior Bowl. And Leon Murray, he actually was up for the Heisman at Tennessee State in the FCS. Yeah. So, man, I coached to some great. All those kids was good kids, and they were good players. So I would name those 3. But the one that took me to my championship at Texas Southern was Arvell Nelson. He didn't have the numbers that those guys had. Those 3 guys were 3,000-yard passers, but he took us to the championship.
Now, Coach Cole.
Go
ahead.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, caller.
what was your philosophy for the hobo? Well, what was the philosophy based on, and how did you develop that offense? I always wanted to ask you that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I played it. I played in some of it back when I was a player. I told you we spread the ball around, and so I played in the offense. So and through my years, I kind of put things together. It's called high operated big play offense. We're always looking for mismatches. We want to get the ball to the playmakers, meaning guys that's going to make plays. So we kept a stat of our playmaker guys. Are we getting the ball to them? And to always keep the defense on his heels and on his toes and giving them a different look. So that's some of the philosophy that I run my offense on.
So
do you see any of that in today's game?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people kind of got away from it in the college. You know, everybody, it's a copycat business to certain people. You know, everybody lines up in 2x2 all the time, and they call that the spread or the offense that the coach that just passed away. But
Mike Leach.
Mike Leach. I don't believe in staying stagnant. I don't believe in letting the defense stay and see you line up in the same formation. I'll come in the game with 20 different formations on you to give those kids. So what I want to do is I want to go fast, but then again I want to control the game. So I'm gonna give you different looks, run some of the same plays, and then run over what play off of that for the big play. So that's why, some of my success, that I've always averaged over 34 points a game.
Wow, Coach, that's pretty impressive as an offensive coordinator. Now, when you were a head coach at Texas Southern, were you also a play caller, or did you
play caller?
You were a play caller even as a head coach.
Yeah. I wouldn't do that to nobody because my philosophy and my scheme too is I'm gonna call certain plays on first down, big plays on third down, some type of play action on second. So I also got a way that I call plays, first down plays, second down plays, and third down plays, sometimes all different plays. And I'm always a step ahead.
Now the owner of this channel has posed a question, and I think I'm obligated to ask you this question. I don't know that you can answer the question, but he says, how is he not coaching in the SWAC?
Wow, man, that's a good question. I don't know. I'll say it, Rocky. I've been tagged as the Deion before Deion, without all the hype and the population. I ran my program something like Deion. I participated in and made sure my kids participated in pep rallies. I'm always dressed to the T, Rock. I'm gonna be always dressed to the T.
So you were Coach Drip before Coach Drip?
Oh, Coach, man, look, I was always in some type of all my suits are tailor made. I had a limousine that would take me around during homecoming. I had a limousine company, because I did some trips, some barter with them. We never had no problem with money. I made deals with Papados. I made deals with food places that I would bring my team over there to eat, but yet y'all would feed my staff on Sundays. So my staff, we were like pros. We ate big time. We either had the wives bring food up or, and I went and recruited. We had about 40 transfers. Our defense finished number 1 in the nation, in the country, and offensively we finished number 12. We had some problems, NCAA issues in our program, but not only just in our program. At 13 out of 14 sports at Texas Southern, we had some issues. But since I was the big dog, the AD and the president at that time, figured they'll throw me out in front of the bus to save their hide. So, hey, that's the fleas that come with the dog.
Let me ask you this, right? because I've talked to you and we've talked candidly about the NCAA issues that you had. Were they in any way related to the kind of issues that FAMU experienced with compliance or anything like that, or were they something like totally different? I just wanted to.
Yeah. All since I've left the university, every school in the conference have had the same thing. It's always that. You can't have one compliance guy trying to compliance 375 athletes in 14 sports. It's the same one. My demise was personal, and I know it, and I take my ownership. I take my ownership of it, and and I always tell my players, don't be bigger than nobody is bigger than the university. Nobody's bigger than the football team, not even me. So I took my licks and rooms and walked away, but unfortunately, nobody's haven't gave me a chance yet.
So for the record,
I've had some offers, and I'll be honest and talk to you that I ran into a really mental stage of once I lost my position, and I made a decision to take care of my kids. I had some young kids, but now they're grown, so it's time for me to make some moves now.
So let me just because the owner of the channel, Scotty, says Dr. McNugget fired him. Oh my God, he's a problem everywhere. So let's. I don't want to be on record as assuming that Dr. McNugget is somebody. So what we're talking about is the current conference commissioner, right? He's the gentleman that fired you. Is that correct?
Fired me at a Jamaican restaurant. Yeah, fired me at a Jamaican restaurant, and he's the one. He's the one let me go. And I'll just let me say this, and you guys make the decision. And yes, sir. Somebody, that was your call.
Go ahead, Colin.
I just want to say another thing that people don't know. When LC and Johnnie was at Alabama State, we didn't have a compliance office at all. Those guys got fired because we had Coach Cole. You remember this? Mr. Whitfield was the compliance officer. He did everything.
AD. He was the academic advisor. Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
And the school. In the school
at all.
Yeah, in the school they brought an investigator in and paid him $300,000 to investigate your winning coach. Who does that, Rocky?
Yep.
How does that sound?
Yep.
You're gonna pay a guy to come in. I want you to find some on my winning coach so I can have a reason to fire him.
Maybe it's the same guy that undervalues the SWAC product and signs a 10-year contract with an emerging company that may or may not be able to provide you with the exposure that you deserve. So
hold on. Here's my situation in Texas Southern. We just won the first championship in the school history. I'm alumni. Alumni giving is up. Everybody is donating money. Coach, I couldn't even go pay for nothing. We're moving to a new stadium that they just finished building downtown. Do you get rid of your winning coach before you move into a new stadium? That's not even good business.
So Coach, we have another question by Scotty. Scotty, this is a great question, Scotty. Under the circumstances, would you take the Bethune-Cookman job?
Would I? Oh man, without a doubt. And we'll win. Let's get down there in Bethune, down there in Florida, Coach. That's a no-brainer. And I had 3 coaches on Monday that could take it and probably do the same thing and get that thing turned around. Shit, I'll ride them more and I'll clean my office out. I don't need them to do nothing but give me the job and watch me work, as they say.
Wow.
Hobo offense, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, Coach, man. We well over 2 hours, man, and I want to thank you so much for being on this call with me, being on here with me, man. This has really been a joy. Again, I mean, these are some of the you've given me giving the audience so much rich information, and these are conversations that you and I have from time to time, and so I'm so glad that you were candid and open with them about what your situation is and everything, man. You always been a straight shooter with me, and I thank you for that. And you often, when we're talking, you often downplay your accolades. You don't talk about those kind of things, the things that you've done in the coaching business, man. But you are a true champion in the coaching business. You've been named Coach of the Year by 2 different conferences, man. You have a lot to offer, right? And this is going to be my last question. This is my last question, Coach. And I don't want to. It goes on the lines. It's kind of comes from the conversation you had with the other successful head coaches yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't former head coaches in the SWAC, whether they're successful or whether they failed, because I don't think that in this context of this conversation matters, whether they were successful or they failed, why don't they get jobs as position coaches or even coordinators in Black college football? It's like after you've reached the pinnacle of a head coach, you get no more opportunities. You don't even get to be brought on as a position coach or as a coordinator. When coaches in PWI football, Black in Division I football, if you fail as a head coach, no brainer, we'll just bring you on as a coordinator. There's a guy that was here at Baylor. You guys may not know him, but there was a guy, he was an awful head coach. His name is Kevin Steele. Look him up. His name is Kevin Steele, right? He's had some of the best coordinator jobs that you could imagine. He's been a coordinator at Alabama. He's been a coordinator at Clemson, but he was a dreadful head coach at Baylor. But after coaching at Baylor, he still got jobs as position coaches, as coordinators. Why don't Black college football, why don't HBCUs hire their former head coaches as position coaches or even coordinators?
First of all, I know Coach Steele, and he's coached with my brother, so I know him very well, and my brother knows him very well, and that's just the fleas that come with the dog. But they look at the resume, Coach. They look at the resume. They look at a guy that's been Baylor, Alabama. This guy been everywhere. And Coach, I'll take it one step further. Do you understand that where he's working in now, he don't even get paid because he's still getting paid from some of those places that you just named? This man is a multi-millionaire. And we sitting here at Black colleges, we thousandaires. And you don't want to give me a job because some personal you got against me? That's the thinking. It's like we feel that because of my personality that I can't come in and be a soldier. We all started from being soldiers. Being a soldier teach you how to be a general. Then when you become a general, you know what generals go through. So that even make you a better soldier. But culture-wise, we don't get that. We get that, oh man, this guy gonna come in and take over my team. And we'll make those decisions without even talking to the guy. There's no way that Common G shouldn't be either a defensive coordinator or assistant head coach somewhere. L.C. Cole, Brian Jenkins, James Woody, Melvin Spears, Anthony Johnson. All these guys were championship coaches in the SWAC. All of them, and most of all of them are out of coaching. It's crazy because these athletic directors that we have now are, since Jerry Jones, man, I tell you, Jerry Jones is a coach killer. Not only for his own organization. There's been some ADs.
Lay off my Cowboys, man.
There have been some ADs that have taken the Jerry Jones program that I'm going to be the guy. The head coach ain't going to be the guy. A good athletic director is a guy that understands that he's behind the scenes. It's the head coach is that out front. And that's what we got. Just look at who are the athletic directors in black college football. Most of them, now let me see, and I don't want to be wrong. I don't think there's not one athletic director. No, it's one at Mississippi Valley that just Harding that has played football. Most of them are either a basketball player or haven't even been in sport, haven't even played a sport.
Well, I'll say this: Ashley Robinson is an impeccable. I'll put it like this: his pedigree is that he's willing to take a chance on coaches, young coaches who have had some experience, right? Where when you think about who he's hired as a head coach, Willie Simmons, Deion Sanders, you know, Willie Simmons was a guy, and I've done a little research on this. Willie Simmons is a guy who came to Alcorn with a checkered past, so to speak.
Yeah.
He came to Alcorn with a checkered past.
Yeah,
right.
He was on his way. He's really a Clemson guy.
Yeah. But he came to black college football because he had an incident.
Yes.
He came to Alcorn and as a offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, or something like that, and he was able to rehab his reputation as a coach, and then of course get into being the head coach at Prairie View and so on and so forth. My point is, I think former head coaches should have that same opportunity to rehab their reputations if they come across something that may be unfavorable or embarrassing in their past, and then rebuild themselves the same way that Lane Kiffin and Hugh Freeze and Urban Meyer and
on and on.
All those other guys. And here, like Deion, like I said earlier about Deion, and this is the truth of the matter, Coach Cole. If HBCUs don't give you an opportunity, then you don't have one.
No, I don't. And
that's the reality of it.
It's sad to say, but I don't, and I won't have that opportunity to coach because PWIs are not giving Johnnie Cole, who graduated from a black school, the opportunity to coach college football. And that's the reality part of it. And really, black coaches, period. Rocky, black coaches, period. All these jobs are open up. How many black coaches got hired? Deion Sanders.
Well, yeah, you. and again, Coach, I just think that's what. And again, I'm not trying to take any. I don't want any opportunity to be taken away from any other coach that has an opportunity to coach at HBCU. But certainly, we should reward our qualified men who want to coach HBCU football. We should not be in a situation where we are not giving qualified men an opportunity. Yeah. Because what it ultimately does, right, it breeds mediocrity within the coaching profession within the HBCUs. And I just think that's not good for coaches that coach at HBCUs. That's why coaches like maybe Willie Simmons isn't elevated to maybe South Florida or something like that.
Ain't no way. You know, John Gruden came from the OVC. It's a bunch of great coaches came from the OVC, and Willie Simmons is just as good as any of them. I want to share some with you before I get out, since I got it. This is the best coaching job I ever done. If you can see it, okay, you can see it. Go back. This is a plaque. I got an AAU team, Rocky. Neighborhood kids, and we started in April, back in and my son was an 8th grader, and I got those kids together and I took them down to Florida for the AAU 8th grade national championship tournament, and they put us in Division 2, man, and we won the national championship in basketball.
Wow!
And my son led the way, man, and this is the best thing that ever happened to me, Coach. This is the best coaching job I ever been. Just some knucklehead ass kids, getting them out of the street and teaching them how to play the game. And Coach, we went to Miami, Florida, and stayed for a week. because we were winning every day. Hell, we didn't have. I had to call my nephew, who was at that time playing with the Miami Heat, to send us some money so we could stay longer. I thought we was gonna get down there for 2 or 3 days, have a good time, and we won every day. We got in there on a Tuesday, and we didn't leave to Sunday night after the championship game. So
Hey, Coach.
that's my best coaching time.
Hey, Coach, that's a great way to wrap this conversation up.
Yes.
We've had, Coach.
Yes.
I want to first off, I want to thank the people who have watched this channel, watched this show tonight. This is Upon Further Review with Rocky on the Off Script channel, man. I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight, man. It's been a really rich conversation with Coach Cole. Man, he's enlightened not only me, but also the audience with so much information. Coach, you gotta come back at some point. I know we're gonna end up having these conversations again and again. And even when you get that big coaching job that I know you deserve, you still got to come back and do an interview here on the Off Script channel, man.
Hey,
but Coach, before we wrap up, I got to give you final thoughts, man, of what you want to say to the HBCU community and what you want to say to the Off Script audience.
First, I want to thank you. I want to thank you and my sis, your wife, Keisha. That's too much of this. But I want to thank you too, man. You two got a power couple. And man, I want you guys to love each other. And I know you guys don't go through some issues, man, but man, you guys are leaders, man. And you guys got too much to offer to mess that up, man. So whatever y'all need to do, whatever is done, man, we need you guys. Second to your audience, man, and to people who care about Black folks. I care about Black folks. I'm not ashamed to say that. I talk about us, because we got to get us right. And when we get us right, we ain't got to worry about nobody else. You know, we be ready to cross over. So thank you again. You know, anytime. Hopefully you right. If somebody see me and say that, you know, we maybe need to give this guy another shot. You know, and definitely anytime in any place. I got to come down and get on y'all bus.
Oh yeah, you definitely got to come on down there. And
I don't know if it's at a Baylor game or a high school game. I don't know, but and I'll let you know. You'll be the first, man. I've accepted a head job in Georgia, so I'm gonna be moving to Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow!
And you're the first one to know that. But
wow, you're going to be a head football coach in Georgia?
Yeah, at a 5A high school. So you know, I got to get back on the sideline, because that's what they kind of using that against me, that I ain't been on the sideline. So that's one thing that I can control. So I'm
congratulations, Coach.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Coach Cole is back in the family business.
Yeah.
And he is going to be a head coach in Georgia, man. Congratulations, Coach Cole, man. You definitely deserve it. You got more knowledge in your pinky than most of these guys got in their whole brain, man. And you definitely deserve, and the kids and the communities you're going to is getting not only a great coach, but a fine man. And that's awesome.
Okay. Thank you very much, man.
All right, Coach. I'm about to wrap up. Thank you again, Coach. I appreciate it. Hey, man, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to Upon Further Review with Rocky, man. This has been the best show ever. I've only had 2, but this is by far the best show. Coach Cole was an amazing guest. It was somebody who had a lot of knowledge on a lot of different things, man, and he was able to educate and entertain us. We could also call that a edutainment. Is that a good word? Is that a word, baby? Yeah, Oh, okay. Courtesy. My wife says that's courtesy of KRS-One, man. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I've had a great time. Thank all the callers for calling in. We appreciate y'all as well. Much love, and I'm out.